iRobot is one of the preeminent robotics companies in the world. Colin himself founded iRobot, and he was a co-founder of iRobot, I should specify. And under his leadership, the company has grown into a $307 million company and truly a force for innovation. Join me in welcoming tonight's keynote speaker, iRobot co-founder and CEO, Colin Angle.
Welcome. And I'd like to spend the next 25 minutes or so talking about the early days at iRobot and sort of how we all got started, because it truly has been an adventure. And like many adventures, it really started off with a dream. Represented here by Calvin, who said, "What? Make my bed and do all that work? No, we're going to invent a robot to do it for us." That's perhaps the fanciful way of thinking about what we actually did. So with that idea, we founded the company. We founded it with a mission: build cool stuff, deliver great product, have fun, make money, and change the world. That is the mission statement of the company, and it led to iRobot today, where we've done about $300 million in revenue in 2008, 500 employees, and just recently we passed $1 billion of robot products sold to date. So that's been exciting for us, but it has also been a journey. There are definitely applications out there, and we're very proud to be involved with programs to make robots a practical reality. But it's been an amazing journey. Again, not a pretty journey, an ugly journey. And if I was going to show one slide that sort of summarizes the history of iRobot, I probably would do it with this slide. This is revenue development over time. Starting way back in 1990, you can see that it's 5 years before we warrant a pixel on this chart of revenue. But we kept on. In year 8 or 9, we started to have a little bit of revenue, and in 2002, we launched some products. But let me add a little bit of color to what that felt like. So here's some of the early work we did. This robot, Attila, this guy was designed to potentially serve as a prototype to go to Mars. Very cool. It had 150 sensors and 20 computers on it, a blind man's crutch in front to try to keep it from running into things. That was kind of neat. We made a lower cost, smaller version of that that's called Genghis, and you can see it here being shown off at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. Here it is walking, entertaining folks. It's probably the best thing it did. This is a cool robot. This is a brilliant pebble. This robot was designed to knock down ICBMs, and we took out the heat seeker and replaced it with a carbon fiber cocoon containing a small micro rover. This is a flight test out at Edwards Air Force Base, where it's going to launch, hover, translate, and land, and eject the robot, which energetically, everything else to get to the moon is coasting. So you can see this thing take off. So then it ejects this carbon fiber cocoon. The robot wakes up, kicks a foot, opens up the cocoon, and then starts its mission. This is a neat robot. This is a robot crab. It's actually a walking block of C4 explosive. the idea is that in very shallow water that may contain mines, it's capable of walking around and kicking things, and if something sounds like it's metal, it would bury itself next to that metal object, so at the right time it could explode and sympathetically detonate the mine it had just found and was sitting next to. Here's a robot fish, not that. That's a real fish, but there's the robot fish. And so this was done where we had discovered that fish are about 5 times as fuel efficient as a spinning propeller, and so that if you could actually make robot fish practical, there's some very exciting applications. And this is a robot that gave tours to about 80,000 people at the Smithsonian Natural History Museum down in Washington, D.C. So we did a lot of these things. You can see this is between the time of 1990 and 1998, and nothing actually came of any of it. So that was too bad, but undaunted, we did continue. And here are some other robots that we created. This is the PackBot. This is actually the urban robot, an early version of the PackBot. You could throw it in buildings, drive it off the roofs of buildings, and it was capable of climbing stairs. So this started to show people that robots might be able to operate effectively outside the confines of a research lab. So that was neat. Here it is going underwater, another thing that very few research robots are comfortable doing. This is a robot designed to go down several miles underground into oil wells. So the big idea was re-enter an oil well that had stopped producing so much oil and stimulate production. So we worked on that. Here's a robot toy called My Real Baby we developed for Hasbro. And it's got a animated face, so it can smile and frown and be angry with you if you don't treat it well. So that went on the market with Hasbro. So did a lot more things between 1998 and 2002. This is a Velociraptor. A product similar to this actually did make it to market by another company. And this last robot, this is an idea of if you wanted to make a robot that you could drop out of a C-130 that could drive over a Jersey barrier and carry other robots, it might look like something like this, only much larger. And so we did this scale model demonstrator to try to show our sponsors what a cleverly designed robot might be capable of. And the last robot I'll show in this clip is a robot called the iRobot LE. This is a physical avatar. So this robot allows a remote person to attend lectures, to go visit interesting places, all remotely. So think of it as mobile video conferencing. So we did all of these things, and really not much came of it. So in fact, iRobot has a long and proud list of well over 18, here's 14, failed business models that we started and engaged in over time. And you think about our mission, build cool stuff, make great products, have fun, make money, change the world. In each case, we realized that we hadn't yet changed the world. We had made enough money, believe it or not, with those business models to keep paying everyone. We're still having fun, so rather than throw in the towel, we were able to sort of dust ourselves off and keep going. Because as an entrepreneur, failure of some sort is inevitable. And I throw up this picture because lots of people like to characterize entrepreneurs as these radical, extreme personalities that love to take risks. And I would argue that maybe there are a few people out there in the entrepreneurial space that are risk takers, but good entrepreneurs are not. What they're good at is understanding risk and figuring out how to make sure that they understand all of the possible outcomes.